Alrighty. Paul Jackson.
1 year later.
What?
Same room.
Yeah, this exact same room. Not much change.
No.
The size of my forehead got slightly bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Welcome everybody. 1 year stream.
Nice.
We kind of just went off the dome there. That was bad.
Yeah.
1 year stream. Maher Media. Yeah, this is going to be exciting. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of things that we can kind of break down. Some new stream content, new content, not stream content. New content we could talk about on stream. We have a nice cookie cake here that we're going to be enjoying and indulging in on 1 year. This is going to be fun. There's a lot of things here that we can kind of talk about. Unfortunately, our Instagram just kind of took a shit on us.
Yeah. Instagram decided it didn't want to boot up today.
Throw it on my Twitter for now.
We'll
go from there. There we go.
Always have a backup plan.
There we go. All right. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Oh man. Get a few people in here before we really start getting going.
Yeah. All right. Let me retweet this.
What's going on, guys? A year later, we're back here in the same exact room.
Exact same room.
Love to see it.
The exact same room. Nothing changed.
Yep. Banners in the exact same spot. Yeah, man. 365 days. Maybe not exactly, but yeah. Yep. You'd love to see it.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's a lot of stuff that we can obviously talk about. We're gonna have some people coming on from the brand, stuff like that to kind of to chat about. Flyers are starting very soon. We'll have obviously a shit ton of coverage for this season, and I'm very excited for it. This year for us, I think is going to be more focused on content. I think you'll see that a lot with us and some of the things that we're doing. We're going to be really trying to hone in on, getting stuff out there, getting more, more eyeballs on things and things like that. It'll be fun, and I'm excited for us to be able to kind of be more creative. You know what I mean? That's going to be fun. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff with that. So yeah, I mean, and again, just kind of going off the kind of the board here that we made. It's a lot of different pictures and things. Paul kind of put this together. Bottom stuff is some new content we'll be talking about as the stream kind of goes along here, and kind of recap on some other things too.
We're gonna have a few guests throughout. We got 𝐊𝐈𝐿 joining us at 3:30. Then we've got James Torillo, big TikTok guy, at 4 o'clock. Yes. And then 4:30 before we wrap things up, around probably 5-ish, is Nick Roche, one of the guys who was with us exactly a year ago. So cool to have him around too. So yeah, we'll cut through a bunch of different guests throughout the next couple hours. But yeah, dude, good to be back. I mean,
yeah, it is.
It's
exciting.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, obviously the first year was more focused on just getting our boots strapped up and getting off the ground and making people aware of what it was that we were trying to do and who we are. Lots of expanding throughout the year. I think a lot of it maybe not necessarily planned.
None of it was planned.
Yeah, just threw things together and they ended up sticking. So year one was about expansion and really just getting lifted off the ground. Now year two is going to be about just keeping on the grind and focusing on what we already have in place and, really honing in on the quality content that we want to deliver. So, I don't know if anybody saw the video we put out today on our socials. That's our new channel trailer that we've been working on for the past maybe
about a week and a half or so.
Probably a week and a half, 2 weeks. It's been kind of in pre-production for a while.
Yeah.
𝐷𝐈𝐿, our video guy and also, editor, pod producer, he helped us out big time with the shots on site in Philly at the Wells Fargo Center, wherever throughout different locations. So that was a ton of fun to shoot and put together. A little bit of frustrating at the end with the needing to, scramble with things just going a little bit wrong, but
yeah,
it was I think it came out really solid and it was worth it in the end. So yeah, we had that come out and really just kind of showcase what we are, a breakdown of the company, if you will, from top to bottom too. You know, I think there's been a lot of you saw Heritage, especially when we launched that in January, I believe.
Yeah, January 1st. Yep.
January 1st. That took off big time. And I think a lot of people didn't know that, Heritage was a Maher Media brand. They didn't know that it was associated. So that was part of the reason why I thought of the idea to come up with this type of video to not only just give exposure to ourselves and really have a visual showcase of what we are, but also break down everything and make it clear that, we're a parent company, but we have all these other brands that we do that make up the content that we put forth. So, I think, I don't know. What was your favorite part of the video?
That's a good question. I don't know. Probably when he said baptism by fire.
Yeah.
I was busting Paul's balls probably the entire time because we sat here the other night in the stew and we recorded all the audio.
Yeah.
And we went through that line probably 6 times.
I think I've heard the phrase baptism by fire probably 45 times in the last couple of days. Yeah, no, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think really any of especially the pipeline part with the portions of content that we filmed, I think that's a really nice touch because it's not like you're just editing in a bunch of, you could have just gone back and taken some of the clips from prospect seasons or whatever, but the fact that it was our own footage that we shot at Dev Camp, I think that was a nice touch and just adds to the element of, it's really our product. So I think that was one of the cooler parts of it. I definitely think the rink rat portion was not that it was too spotlighted or anything, but that'll be we'll get into that later. That's one of the last things we have to talk about, but that was a segment that I thought came across really well.
Yeah. I mean, me and Paul did most of the editing. I did a lot of the bulk of the really kind of the more graphic stuff.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part was actually recording all the audio. That was a lot of fun. I love the Heritage part. As soon as we go live, I have a total constant yawning every 5 seconds. I mean, look, I again, I think there's a lot of things that we're going to be doing throughout the year that are going to be exciting. Some stuff we'll mention now, other things we'll kind of mention later. We do have some new stuff coming. As for in terms of the actual video, I don't know, dude. I mean, I thought all of it was just a good time. Getting the shots with Owen and Will and everything, and we kind of went behind the scenes a little bit and did some stuff, and then we did the in-person 4 Fly Guys. That was a lot of fun. And then as we kind of went on throughout those couple days there, it was obviously we were getting the video together and everything like that. So again, I had a blast. I thought the whole thing was fun. I thought the production was great. And again, overall, I mean, I think it's a lot of fun when you can do it with people you enjoy, what I mean? And people you just have a good time with. And, obviously Will, Owen, everybody, it's been a blast. Some guys we haven't met, hopefully we can soon, someday. Our guy Nick in Canada, definitely.
Wyatt in Wisconsin.
We'll
see him in a few minutes.
Wyatt. Yeah, it's a very far distance.
Yeah.
It's funny with the radius of this light bulb. This might start heating up this cookie cake.
It's gonna catch fire.
Yeah,
that's good.
We again, I don't know if everybody saw our Twitter, but we went to supermarket, got a cookie cake.
Yeah, plan was to do an ice cream cake. And consume the entirety of that on one stream. Then we decided, for the benefit of our health,
I wasn't going to eat the entirety of it.
No,
I was only going to eat a slice.
Okay,
yeah,
that's tame.
Does an ice cream cake have a slice, or is that a piece,
or is it a scoop?
Fuck.
I don't know.
That's a great question.
I don't know.
That's a really good question. Is it a
I'm not
slice,
sure.
a scoop, or a piece?
I'll go with a slice.
But
let's
like it's
go
not,
with a slice.
but this is like in slice form. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like pizza.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
No, I do. Let's go with a slice though, just for the sake of argument.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cake. Let's call it a slice.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Trying to dig into this cookie cake.
I am.
That's
I'm hungry.
How is it?
It's good. It's a double chunk chocolate cookie.
Nice. Yeah, the Costco guys. Yeah. Yeah. We backed out of the ice cream cake last minute and decided to go for the guess maybe the more tame decision with the cookie cake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe 10 years from now we'll have to go for some sort of, I don't know, what do we want to do? How do we up the stakes instead of a cookie cake?
I say we just do steaks.
Steaks, yeah. You ever see those golden steaks?
The golden prime steaks? Yeah.
It's like covered in like actual pieces of gold.
It's like
Yeah.
The flaky gold?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. So we just take the entire team out there.
Get Salt Bay.
Yeah.
Come out. Start cutting it for us.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm quite parched from the cookie cake. Yeah. No, I mean, again, I'm pumped for this year. Like, there's so many cool things I think we're gonna be doing, and again, like with the Flyers and Mitch-Kov and all that, and kind of where the team's been going. It's been fun to do this and kind of see where everything goes. I mean, we have 4 or 5 guys kicking with Knuble starting in about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. Rookie games, stuff like that. So
yeah, that's the big thing coming up is the rookie games. Those will be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
I was saying to him off camera not too long ago that I feel like the rookie games are a really fun time. Regardless of if you're going, whether it's we haven't gotten the chance to go in the press box for the rookie games at least, but I've been in the press box at PPL Center, and I think that angle, first of all, can we talk about the press box at PPL Center?
It's like
that is elite.
It's such a good angle.
It's like, because you have to remember it's a minor league arena,
Mm-hmm.
so like you're essentially right above the 200 section. But in a smaller arena like that, it's really not that far off of ice level.
If you sat in the sat row, or if you sat in the last row,
the last row of the section,
and one of us was in the press box, and
you could probably reach up and grab.
You could hold that other person's hand. That's how close it is.
It's such a sick setup, and hopefully at some point we get the chance to cover it in the press box. But regardless, wherever you sit for the rookie series, there's not really a bad seat in PPL Center because of how it's laid out. And it's just such a sick time because it's like, you see the jerseys and it reminds you of especially last year with the new burnt orange jerseys. It was like a kind of like a preview of what was to come. I think especially with this year, you're probably going to see the first time Mitch-Kov ever suits up in a game in a Flyers jersey.
Yeah, that's going to be sick.
In Allentown.
Yeah. I hope so. I really hope he plays.
I don't see why he wouldn't. Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, you get 2 chances, and the guy has been itching to play. You heard Briere on Nasty Knuckles say that he can't get the kid off the ice in Voorhees. So I would imagine
beg them to play.
Yeah, I'd imagine he'll play at least one. If they're feeling really risky, maybe they let him play both. But I highly doubt that. They'll probably let him play one and then give him a breather for the rest of the preseason. I want to see how they handle him in the preseason. Honestly, I'm not sure how many games they'll let him play.
I don't know if they're going to hold him back. I think he's just going to go out and play like every other guy.
I could see
he's going to get the shot. He's going to get all the home games. Usually the home games are usually the way the preseason goes, at least how I've always taken it, is the home games are the guys that you expect to be on the team. And that last home game, the last preseason game, is usually the closest thing to the opening roster.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I just think I could see both angles of it where, they take the safer angle if they want to protect the kid and don't let him, they don't want him to, risk injury or anything.
Especially preseason guys are always going for hits and
and especially
to make the team and all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. You have guys like Rempe who are going to go out there and chase hits and try to make a big impact. So I could see that angle of it where they try to restrict him, but I could also see the angle where, you know, the kids. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I could also see the angle where the kids itching to play, and they let them play most of the preseason games, and even one or two of the rookie series games. But that's the first thing that we really have coming up is the rookie series.
We'll be there. We booked the hotel.
Yeah,
in Allentown, because whoever's been on that drive, it's miserable, especially when you're coming from Northeast Philadelphia. I mean, again, I'm not a huge fan of where the Phantoms are at currently.
Yeah, no.
I would love for them to be closer. And I think that's part of why it's like so difficult for I think the AHL to draw fans. They're just in such low markets, you know what I mean? And like then again, they kind of have to be, you know what I mean? Because they're not. It's not the greatest rosters or anything like that. So I understand that at the same time. But I mean, again, like the Phantoms going from Philly to Adirondack for those couple years, and then going to Allentown, and they've been there for this will be the 11th season there. It's definitely interesting. I like PBL Center as a venue, as an arena to see a hockey game. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily love the placement of it. It's the location. If you go like 2 blocks past PPL Center, it's like going into Kensington, or Camden. It's not good. No, I'm not even saying that to be funny. Like, I'm genuinely serious. Like, it's not good. It's not good.
It is worth it from time to time though, going out there to see a game, because even if it's the Phantoms, I've only been to, I think, 1 or 2 regular season games for the Phantoms. I think it was 1, and it was a loss to the Bridgeport Islanders. Yeah, it was like the last game that Wade Allison was in the Flyers organization.
Wow.
Like it's cool to go see the games there, and the Phantoms are pretty fun to watch, especially like we're gonna have some stuff with them for Pipeline, covering them throughout the year periodically, and last year we kind of did the same thing, going in the press box for the playoffs. That was a really cool run to watch, especially the overtime comeback game against the Pens. Was that that was Lazinski had like 2 goals in the third period, right?
That was one of the best games I've ever seen.
Best hockey games I've ever seen.
It was great. They were down 1-0, 3-1, and 4-3.
Yeah, I think so. They just kept.
They tied it, and then they gave up the goal right after, and then tied it right after that.
No, exactly. What's up, Sean Fitzpatrick? How's it going, man?
Yeah, Sean.
Appreciate that.
Thank you for the comment as always. Mr. Twister, my man, always in here. Mr. Twister's an OG. He's been in here for like years.
Hell yeah.
Alex, thank you, man. We appreciate that. James, have you on soon, buddy?
Yes, sir.
It'll be fun.
See James in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Probably about 45 or so.
4 o'clock. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, 4. Yep. Should be fun. Here we go. This is a good question. Is the hype around 𝐊𝐶𝐑 return versus Anaheim going to be real, or just a normal home game realistically?
Let me ask you this question. If you know anything about Philly, how do you think the reaction is going to be to a guy for the very first time playing in the city that he got drafted by, and then says, "Yeah, you know what? Not really about that.
I don't really feel.
Yeah, I don't really feel like it." No, it's 100% real. I mean, I think again, it's going to be one of those things that you have to monitor. Where it wouldn't shock me if, maybe if there's a time where by that point in the season, if he is a little banged up for whatever reason, that the team would just sit him out because they don't want him to risk getting hurt. But at the same time, 𝐊𝐶𝐑, as we've seen with his personality, I mean, he's the type of guy that he's going to play into that. He's going to play into the villain role and really embrace that. And I think he would want more than anything to play in Philly against the Flyers. So I think it's definitely real, the hype. And you could see that in the ticket prices. But
no shit. Jesus.
Yeah.
They were what, $120?
It's a bag and a half. Yeah. It's definitely something.
Yeah. No, definitely. And again, I think I agree. I mean, I think most of next season, I think the Flyers are going to have a great year in terms of ticket sales, in terms of merchandise sales, in terms of
easily.
Probably group seats, all that shit. Like, I think they're gonna have a really solid year in terms of just making more money and things like that. You already saw that, and you heard that from Dan Hilferty this past summer. Talking about Jonesy at the end of the year. You can put up a little bit. I mean, again, like, most of the tickets and everything. I mean, like, obviously you saw we went to what, maybe 12, 15-ish games last year, something like that.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
I did. I went to a good chunk, and I tried to go on. Again, I mean, like, the Flyers usually play like the same. The Flyers have a very similar schedule every year. A lot
usually
of Saturday games.
Vancouver too.
Yeah. For some reason, yeah.
Play Vancouver in the home opener like every year.
Yeah, 4 times they've played Vancouver in the home opener. I think it was 2000, either 2000, 2001, 2012, 2021.
Yeah.
Was last year?
No, last year.
Yeah, last year Vancouver. Yep.
Was it?
Yeah, Zamula. Yep. Coots in the penalty shot.
Yep.
Yeah. And then this year's Vancouver again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. And then the Canucks home opener is against the Flyers.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So yeah, I mean, again, I think I do think that they're gonna have a good year in terms of like I said, sales and everything. I mean, you saw that already with the play from last year. They were up like he said like 92-ish, 95%, something like that. He said the merchandise was up about 75% with 𝐊𝐍𝐘𝐒 and all that too. So it'll be good to see. And I'm curious, honestly, to see if we get another outdoor game soon. Yeah, I know we just had one, but
it wouldn't shock me if it's Philly versus Chicago at some point.
Yeah,
I know Chicago is getting the Winter Classic this year, but
one that we get the Winter Classic. We've had
it should be.
We've had 3 stadium series in a row.
It should be, but at this point, I don't know if they're going to do that. I mean, I don't even know if the Flyers would say yes at this point, or if it's even a thing. Classic? They're always going to say yes, but like, should they? At this rate,
yeah.
With that record,
for some reason they're just so. But Chicago is the same thing. Chicago's won 1 outdoor game.
Yeah, but like, who cares in Chicago? You know what I mean? Like, Chicago's just like.
I get it, but like that, it's not good to get.
Chicago's got Wrigley Field. Like, who cares?
And get blown out.
Yeah.
I mean, we had CBP and had a 2-0 lead in the 3rd period.
Yeah.
Then
Mike Rupp decided to play the game of his life. Yeah, no, Sean Fitzpatrick. So Nick Delorier will become well acquainted with Gauthier. I think there's 2 guys that are going to be out on the ice the most against Gauthier.
Hathaway.
So, all right. Maybe 3 guys. I think it's Michkov, Hathaway, and Delorier, if Delorier is even in the lineup.
Yeah.
If he is, I think he gets played for that exact reason, and I think he gets a decent amount of minutes for a 4th liner, obviously, in his role. But I do think Hathaway is a good idea because Hathaway is not only an effective player in his role, but he's also going to, create offense and everything. And pure scare tactic, I'm sure Cutter Gauthier wouldn't love to play against Garnet Hathaway. Not that he's going to be intimidated, but it's not the easiest guy to play against. And then obviously Michkov, they're going to want to match up the 2.
I just find it like hard. Like, there's just no way that he's going to come into this and be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, I doubt he's going to have a good game.
Gauthier?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Against us?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I think it could be. I could see it being a really competitive game, honestly.
Yeah, I could too. Especially because Anaheim probably should be better.
Yeah.
We've said that the past couple of years, What's your craziest take on it this year for the Flyers?
Craziest take?
Yeah, do you have one? Do you have anything that's like, I know I really put you on the spot, but because I don't even have anything now that I think of it, but
I don't know. I think. And I really don't want to sound like a homer here because I'm truly not being a homer.
Yeah.
I think I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I do think there is a case where it could.
Okay.
I know most rankings have the Flyers goalie tandem at like dead last in the league or bottom 3.
Yeah.
And I think there's every indication that it could be, but you also have to factor in that Sam Ersson has never played a full season in his life. In the NHL. So
So you're saying the goalie tandem is going to be bad?
No, what I'm saying is everybody has it ranked last or bottom 3 or bottom 5. I see a legitimate case where a full season of Ersson and Fedotov fully settling in the North America.
Yeah.
They could actually make some noise as a tandem.
Yeah.
And not be nearly as bad as everybody thinks. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could definitely see a case for it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for me, I think that the thing for me is that my craziest take is they're going to have, I'll say top 12 power play.
I think
that's my crazy take.
I think as long as Rocky Thompson's the coach, that's not possible.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But that's why it's a crazy take.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, because it's like, all right.
Because like the personnel.
Because I don't want to say like Mitch Goff will get 100 points. That's just unrealistic. You know what I mean?
The personnel is going to be better with Mitch Goff and everything.
And dude, they do not have that bad of a roster to have a bottom power play. They don't. It's just not true.
Yeah.
I just don't believe that.
Yeah.
For everything my eyeballs tell me, that's just not true.
How's this one from Mr. Twister?
Crazy stake is if Frost and Mitchkov pop off together and go to the All-Star game together. Wow.
Philly with 2 All-Stars would be absolutely diabolical. Yeah. That would mean that
if Owen was here, he'd be like Bobby Brink wins the Calder or something like that.
Yeah. That would have to mean that, like, I don't know, who would miss an All-Star for that to happen?
Acne?
No. Like other teams in the Metro. Who would have to miss for that to happen? Because how many make it from the Metro? It's one per team? Yeah, 1 per team, and then the wild cards. Or the fan votes. There's what, like, is it 6?
Is it 6 a division?
I'm not sure.
Or is it 8 a division?
I have no idea.
I don't watch the All-Star game. I have no idea.
If somebody can fact check that,
it's like the one weekend I just don't pay attention to hockey.
I'm not big on the All-Star weekend.
It's so ass. I can't watch it.
Ever since they introduced the tournament format, I can't do it.
I used to watch it. Last one I really watched was 2023. I did watch that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could see I do think Frost is going to have a breakout year.
Yeah.
I did say that in my predictions in the video that we did. I do think though that I don't think Frost's year will be as impressive as you would think. I could see a breakout year in the sense of, like, how many points did he have last season?
Oh,
Frost. Was it like
46?
40? No, that was the year before, wasn't it? I think he had 41 last year.
41, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere along those lines. I don't know. I think he'll have a step up and a little bit of a breakout year.
41, yeah.
41. I could see like a 60-point year.
I see. I can too. And I think it's crazy that people think that that's crazy.
That's not crazy at all.
You know,
he had a 41-point season without Mitch Goff on the team.
They had 2 guys that had over 50. 3 guys that had over 50 points.
Yeah, but mind you, like
3 guys.
Frost had 41 points on a team without Mitch Goff, and he was benched for 10 games.
Yeah,
didn't even play in 10 of them.
Yeah, Frost was 5th on the team in points, and in games played. Let me see.
I just think it's one of those things where, like, you have to look at the situation of the guy's season. He has 41 points, but he finishes the year having played, I think it was 71 or 72. I think it was 71. If you look at that rate and the way he was producing towards the back half of the year, I know everybody's saying, like, oh, yeah, of course he is now. Like, too little, too late. But there's no such thing. It's a rebuild.
Yeah, right.
So if you put a guy in a shitty situation, not playing him 10 games, you're not going to succeed in that position.
And I've said this for years now.
Yeah.
They set him up to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the only guy that the Flyers have done this with in recent years. They have done this with plenty of players. Plenty of guys.
There you go, Nick. Let's go. Bring for Rocket Richard.
Hashtag that's for Owen.
Yeah. Nice.
That's good.
Yeah, we'll talk to Nick at 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
Got Wyatt Graves coming up here pretty soon, though.
Yep. James at 4, Wyatt at 3:30.
Yep.
You did confirm with Wyatt that was Eastern time?
I did, yes. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure.
Have to save him a slice of this cookie cake here.
Yeah,
Ship it off to Wisconsin.
We're going to freeze dry it and send it to him in big buckets.
You think if we ship it off to Wisconsin, it would turn into cheesecake?
That was a really bad try for a cheese joke there, Paul.
That's good. Appreciate that. That's great.
That's good. Got 63 people in here. Thanks everybody so much joining us on this Labor Day. Here he is, 𝐊𝐍𝐔𝐑.
Yep.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Wyatt? Oh, hold on. Can't hear you.
Oh,
you got us?
I can hear you guys.
Okay.
Gotcha. What's up, dude? How are you?
Good. Can you hear me now?
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear you guys. So sick.
Good. All right.
Hope it wasn't on mic or nothing.
Yeah. No, you're good.
No, you're good. What's
going
up,
on,
dude?
brother?
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Just hop on at this beautiful Labor Day. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Nothing's open today, so at least around me,
Yeah.
I got nothing to do, man.
Sitting at home. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, I know you. I know you were just on 4 or 5 Guys. Kind of been doing some more stuff with us. It'll be fun for the year. Just kind of going through everybody and new content and all this stuff that we got going on and everything planned and stuff. We were just talking about craziest takes for the Flyers. Not to put you on the spot, I'm going to try not to. I kind of am. Any crazy hot takes you got for the Flyers this year?
Can I start by debunking a take that I've seen a lot of?
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Something I've seen a lot of is fans and some media outlets really thinking that Ivan Fedotov is gonna usurp basically Sam Ersson as a starting goaltender. I think that's crazy.
I do too.
I cannot see that happening. Even if he is better, I don't see any world where Ivan Fedotov is anything more than a tandem goalie for the Flyers this year. If the Flyers handle it how I think they'll handle it, at least.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I put an article out about this too, or maybe it's hasn't posted yet, but
yeah.
I think the biggest thing this year, especially in terms of goaltending, is giving both guys such just an opportunity to see what they are, because obviously I guess we shouldn't say we had the opportunity. Theoretically, we had the opportunity to bring in a guy like Askarov, or could have signed someone or whatever, but we purposely didn't, so we could see what we have in both of these goaltenders. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing with that is to give Sam his go as a number one.
Right.
And I think that's how it's got to go. And we just can't fall into what we did last year, where it's Ersson starting 90% of the games down the stretch.
Yeah. Right.
His save percentage. I mean, his save percentage in that last month must have dipped into the 800 or low 800s.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it got to the point where they were just they were essentially icing the lineup, the only lineup they could. Mm-hmm. And really, they've had to do that the last 3 years in terms of injuries and different situations and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, I think for me, Wyatt, I think the biggest thing is that I do agree with you. I don't think that Fedotov is essentially just gonna be great right away. He's only played I think 9 periods or something. He didn't even play 3 full games. And he did join the team in their worst stretch of that season. Yeah. So there's something to that. I will say I do think Ersson is someone you can count on. I do think he could be a starter in the NHL. I do think there's ways where they can probably use him in a way where it doesn't kill him for the season. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where you're not using him every other night. Unfortunately, with the Flyers schedule, we kind of touched on this a little bit, where it's a lot of back-to-backs and 3 and 4, 4 and 6.
How it's always been, though.
Yeah, and that's the hard thing and that's why the Flyers don't have a lot of practice days, is because you have so many of those games where it's like you go 3-4 and like just off the top of my head, there's a random stretch in December for a couple days. Like they're home for 2 days, go to Nashville for a game, and then come back home. It's like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean?
Just make it a homestand.
Yeah. Or if you're going to go out West, like just play out West. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes like the schedule can I feel like kind of mess with the Flyers a little bit, because then you have afternoon games because you have a multi-use arena and all that. Again, I'm not blaming the schedule for everything, but it's definitely part of it and part of why the goaltend, especially goaltenders, because obviously you guys know, you've watched the game a long time. Like, goalies are routine guys and you got to play and all that. I definitely could see Fedotov having a good year. Do I think he'll be better than Ersson? No. Do I think I think there's definitely a learning curve, and I think the benefit to Fedotov in this scenario is that no one has really any read on him. In Ersson's case, you have somewhat of a read on him. So I think it's going to be different. And I think it could be similar for Ersson, like it was with Carter Hart a couple years ago. After in the shortened COVID season, if you remember, I talked about this so many times. He just got lit up.
Yeah, he did. He got picked apart.
Yeah, and you saw guys really exploit specific areas of game, high glove, low blocker. Like, there was just some areas of Hart's game that just really got exploited. And I do think some of that could happen to some of these goalies on the Flyers here. I know it's a long-winded answer, but that's,
you see it happen.
My 2 cents.
You see it happen to everybody in the NHL, though.
Yeah.
Even Vasilevsky last year. Like, he had moments where he got picked apart, because the more you play in the league, the more other players are going to figure you out. So, I know you mentioned Askarov earlier, and I think that's one of those things that, like you said, they probably want to get a little bit more comfortable with rolling with Ersson and Fedotov. So I think that's part of the reason why they didn't try to make a move there. But you have to figure in another reason is, and you covered these guys, especially Bjarnason at the World Junior Summer Showcase.
Yep.
He had a great showing, and like, you pick him in the second round, you trade up to get him. You didn't just trade up to get him for no reason. You clearly see something there. And when you have Zavragin in the system too, Kolosov, if he does report, you have a good pool of young goalies. So even if Fedotov doesn't work out, which, I mean, he's not a long-term option, obviously, at this point. He's already, 27 years old. So that ship has kind of sailed. But, Ersson is by no means a brushover. He's definitely shown some real flashes in the time that he's been the Flyers starter, which, to his credit, wasn't planned. He got thrown in and, played very well for most of the year. So
in mid-January.
Yeah.
Like,
it really only wore down as down the stretch as things went on. But for what was essentially his rookie year as a starter in the league, he played very well. And I think that's one of the most underrated things, is that people sometimes forget that we've seen the smallest bit of Sam Ersson. There's so much that we haven't seen with him yet that there could be a ton more there. And even if there isn't, even if he only winds up as a backup or a tandem goalie, you have all those other guys in your system. Yeah. That and one of them could hit.
At least one of them has to hit.
Yeah. I mean,
whether it's Ersson or any of the other guys, like,
you would think
that. You would think.
Yeah.
Well, that's how it is with every draft too. I mean, we didn't pick a goalie this year, but we took 2 goalies in the second round last year, one in the second, one in the third. So it's like, that's kind of why. And usually you don't see that. I mean, especially for a first-year GM, that's his first draft, and he goes and takes 2 goalies in high rounds. So, I mean, there's something to be said about that. You gotta think the organization is high on both Bjarnason and Zavragin. So hopefully they hit one of them at least.
Right. Let me ask you. Go ahead. If you want to bring up that question, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to shift gears a little bit to defenseman real quick. Oscar the Grouch wants to know what's going on with Emil Andre. I know he got a little bit of a look at the start of last year. I think he played 1 game and that was it, right?
Yeah.
It was the Senators game earlier in the year.
Made his debut and then got sent back down.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great game for him.
No. It wasn't great. They were horrible that whole game.
They were. And to his credit, the Phantoms games that we were able to cover in the playoffs, I thought he looked great.
Yeah, I mean, he played like their top defenseman throughout the end of the year there.
I know, obviously, it's the comparison that you're going to make just because he's, where he's from, but, like, he, in so many ways, reminds me of Kimmo Timonen.
Yeah.
That, like...
Because he's a small switch defenseman that can throw a hit.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know exactly why people are going to make the comparison, but he genuinely does. of Timonen. Yeah, and everybody loved Chemo. So like, if Andre can even be,
a poor man's Chemo.
What is it with you and calling everybody a poor man's something?
I don't know. It just fits. Like, I remember a couple years ago, I compared Braun to like a poor man's Niskanen, and that was kind of what it was. Like, it wasn't flashy offensively, neither was Niskanen, and like you just solid. I don't know. It just stuck. I don't know. It's just something I've always found in guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Andre definitely has a shot at probably not making the team out of camp, just judging by the depth that they have at the blue line. But he's definitely one or two injuries away, I think, from making an NHL appearance.
Let me ask Paul, and then Wyatt, I'll ask you guys this: who do you think is a better shot, McDonald or Andre?
McDonald. I think McDonald. It's in the depth chart.
It's got to be McDonald. I think he's already factored in. I mean, the organization loves him. It's
right.
Which, by the way, I don't agree
high on Andre too.
Yeah, I don't agree with McDonald being higher on the depth chart already. I thought his penalties were absolutely egregious in the playoff series against the Penguins and also against Hershey. And that's, again, that doesn't define who he is as a player or a prospect, but something that needs to be cleaned up for sure. But in terms of who they prefer right now, I do think McDonald's probably higher up on their depth chart.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's the size. I think that's the biggest.
Could be,
that's the biggest thing between the two of them is the size. They both have pretty similar games, but not entirely similar. Like, both can quarterback a power play. Both can move the puck. Both, McDonald does have a longer stick to his, in his advantage from his height.
Mm-hmm. To McDonald's credit, though, I think he's defensively better, and then I think Andre is much more offensively better.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. And I do think McDonald is more of a stay back and defend kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Wyatt?
Yeah, I really love that question about what's going on with him, because if you take it back to about a year and a half, so this is before Danny drafts 𝐊𝐈𝐂𝐿. This is before he drafts Oliver Bonk and Denver Barkey. Who do you think the top prospect was in the Flyers organization? I mean, it's between Andre, maybe Forster.
It was those two
guys not on the NHL roster. Andre was like one of our crowning jewels. Guys. And granted, that's because we didn't have a guy like 𝐊𝐈𝐂𝐿 or even a guy close to, the level of prospect that Oliver Bonk is. But when we commit to a rebuild and then it's like, okay, what do we have for prospects? It's like Emil Andre. And that's our guy. So obviously the organization has got to be kind of high on him. I don't think he makes the NHL out of camp. I don't think he makes the team this year out of camp like he did last year, but
one or two injuries away, right?
Yep. I 100%. Not even injuries. Risto's got to be out of here soon. Like, you'd think that is the guy that we are shipping out of here at some point in the season if he's healthy. So I'd say maybe 2 months into the season, if Ristolainen looks good, has put some good film out there, that's a contract that you can probably get out from under, and then you slide in a guy like Andre. Probably have to shuffle things around in terms of pairings, because I don't think Andre plays too much of a similar game to Rasmus Ristolainen, but that's someone who I can see making the team throughout the season.
Yeah. So I'm looking on here at just the Flyers overall, like, defense, just through the NHL app. Some guys I genuinely could see making the team. I think it's hilarious that Ryan Ellis is still on this list. But anyways, you have guys like Helge Grans, Adam Ginning, Hunter McDonald, like we mentioned, Ethan Sampson. Those guys probably aren't making the team outside of McDonald. Then you have Bonk, Louis Belpedio, Haddard, and Andre. If I'm being totally honest, I could see someone beating out Igor Zamula to make the team.
I can't.
When I saw the team last year and I saw the way that Zamula played.
When you say to make the team, do you mean like to actually play on the ice, or do you mean just to be on the roster?
I say like make the opening night roster. Like when they announce the opening night roster and you're going through camp and you're seeing all that. I don't know if that guy will play, but they could carry him as seventh defenseman, something like that.
Okay, yeah. There's just no way that Zamula is not going to be on the opening night roster.
Yeah, I mean,
no way.
I would the whole
Correct.
point.
He's serving as Michkov's like de facto translator, essentially.
Well, I mean, you got Fedotov too.
You do, but I mean, he's been hanging out with Zamula a lot. But
yeah,
go ahead, continue.
But yeah, I mean, look, I could see it. Just because you have Michkov, that doesn't automatically mean though that like you're guaranteed a spot either, just because you're Russian. So like,
yeah,
I get what you're saying, but because again, like Johnson's not going to play a ton. It's going to be like Stahl last year, probably, right? Maybe 20, 30-ish, maybe 40 games if he gets lucky. And then, you know, you have Drysdale, who is coming off of an injury. You have Sanheim, you have York, Sealer, who's going to block a shit ton of shots and probably be hurt the entire year and still play.
Yeah.
And then you have some other guys in there too, like Wyatt mentioned, Ristolainen. So like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's hard to obviously every guy has a chance of making the team at training camp. That's one of the coolest things about training camp is like every guy's got a chance.
Yeah.
But that's, I guess you could throw that in another one of my hot takes is maybe someone beats out Z to start the year.
How are we feeling about this one? Wyatt, I'll let you answer this one first. Does playing with Matvei Michkov put more pressure on Morgan Frost to break out? And this is assuming
100%.
So this is assuming that he would be on his line, right? I mean,
yeah.
Or is this just in general? Because I guess if you play the power play together, then
yeah.
Go ahead, Wyatt.
If Michkov is on Frost's line, then you need to see the best season in terms of point production from Morgan Frost.
I agree.
That's just how it is. I mean, it has appeared in the past few seasons that the ship has sailed with Morgan Frost, yet he's still here. This might be his last go because I believe this is the last year of that bridge contract that he signed, the 2-year. This is Morgan Frost's kind of, I don't want to say it's his last chance because I think he could still find a spot on this team in some capacity if he has another okay year. But if Frost is on a line with Michkov and Michkov is a Calder finalist and has put up, I mean, realistically, let's say 50 points, then Frost needs to have had at least 60 points on the season.
Yeah.
Especially if, and you need to think about this too, just the fact of having Michkov on the power play. I think every player on the Flyers from last year could afford another 5 points onto their total. I think that's realistic if they had played on the power play. Like I would expect, Tippett, it probably scores more goals. I think this is a year Tippett scores 30 goals just having Michkov on the power play.
Yeah.
Taking someone else to shoot.
Something. Yeah, it was really close.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pressure's on Frost. I mean, look,
I agree.
You're 100% right. I just think like, and I know you said this not necessarily his last chance, but like the fact that we're even talking about this the fact that this is even a talking point for Morgan Frost having put up 41 and then 46 points the year before that as being a last chance for a guy who's early 20s, like to me that is absolutely ridiculous. Like, especially when you have guys that are putting up 30 and 20. Like it's just,
I think you have to understand too that like when you look at, like, again, I said this before, like people always expected Frost to put up a shit ton of points for some reason.
Nobody talks about the injuries either.
And like, yes, that is part of it. But to me, the biggest thing is the quality of line mates.
That's
and
it.
I'm not going to sit here and say that he played with bad players. He didn't. He played with guys that just don't fit his skill set. You cannot have a guy that has that much, skill, one-on-one skill, all that stuff, the hands, the skating, everything else, and put him with guys like Jerry Mayhew and Max Woolman and Zach McEwen and Nate Thompson and Lucas Sedlak and all these other guys and expect him to put up points. That's just not realistic. So, and even last year, I mean, again, we talked on this before Wyatt hopped on here. He sat for those couple of games. I think he played 2 and then missed the next 8 or something like that, 6.
Something like
It
was crazy.
Long stretch.
It was like 10 of the first 16 he didn't play.
I think it was 10 of the first 20 actually.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was literally he didn't play half of the games.
Yeah.
The team had played.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I remember that. So again, I mean, my thing is if you put a guy like that, you put him on the power play. I think Frost, I think Frost has a good shot to at least get you 20, 25 goals, something like that.
Easily.
You know, I think he definitely is one of the better guys you could use on 3-on-3. He's not used in 3-on-3, which I don't understand why. And
he's
again,
just not used well enough in general.
No,
exactly.
The usage is so weird.
In every situation, he's not. If in 5-on-5 with line mates, like I just mentioned, power play, I don't think he's put in the right spot. They did a little bit when they had him on the flank, on the left flank there, but again, he's kind of moves around. They had him in the bumper at times. And there's not even times where he's on the right flank. And I think that's part of also what feeds into the conversation of the power plays issue is everything changes all the time. So that's another thing. You can't get anything set up. You know, the Flyers had a top 3 power play for those couple of years there. Me and Paul were actually watching this the other night, just like power play highlights and stuff. And it was just like, you watched it was the same guys. Yeah. The same unit. The Capitals had the best power play unit for like 5-6 years and kept the same 5 fucking players on the ice and scored constantly.
And who scored the most goals?
Ovechkin.
Right.
It was Carlson, Backstrom, Johansson was in front of the net. Anyone you could have put Wilson, Kuznetsov, anyone in the slot, Backstrom, Ovechkin. Yeah. And it worked all the time. Like, it's not a power play, it's not rocket science.
It's just like I can't I'll never be able to get behind, specifically with Morgan Frost, how anybody could look at this guy and say, oh yeah, he's not going to work out here, like let's just trade him.
It's crazy
because you have to factor in, right, like the injuries and the flub development, the lack of usage, the wrong usage when you are using him. This was the first season where I felt like towards the back half of the year, once he wasn't playing, you know, half the games in the first 20, that he was actually being used okay. And you saw that with his play. He was producing a lot more. And again, it goes back to what I was saying. You miss 10, 11 games in the year. If you play those games, how many more points do you get when you have the confidence and you're on fire? Right. You know what I mean? The best way I can describe, especially his early development, was you take Claude Giroux when he first comes into the league, and remember when he was playing with, in like 2016, he was playing with like Valtteri Filppula and like all those other guys on line one. If you threw young Claude Giroux in with those line mates, he's not going to fucking produce. Like, it's not going to.
If you look at Frost, right, and just his number, sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But he played that 21-22, he played a little bit in the AHL, right? He's only 2 years out of the AHL. Mm-hmm. It's taken him a while to blossom, and he had the injury. Yeah. That forced him out for an entire season. So really, he's on track for his career projection, just age wise. He's off about a year. But I don't know. I feel like that stuff's always overlooked. But anyway,
it is.
Last year, 81 games played, 19 goals, 27 assists, 46 points. This past season, 71 games, so 10 less games. He had 6 less goals and 1 more assist, so he's on the same assist range. Had 41 points, so like he's a couple goals shy. He played 10 less games. Like he's pretty much at the exact same pace if he plays those games. Like it's nothing crazy. Again, a lot of these guys, you look at the past 3 years: 21-22, 22-23, and 23-24. What has been the common factor with the Flyers in those 3 years? They've sucked for the most part. So you can't necessarily like harp on a guy for not producing offense and all that jazz when you don't play him right. He's not using the right situation in anything else in terms of special teams, and then the team's also bad. You know what I mean? It doesn't add up.
And again, it's also a confidence thing. Like if you have a guy who has a 4-point game against, you know, the Arizona Coyotes, you have guys who say, oh yeah, he's doing it against the Coyotes. It's like he can do no right.
Exactly.
So, you know, but a guy who might have done right, I know in your eyes why you watched him at the summer showcase, Heikki Rahonen, Flyers drafted him this year. What did you think about him? Because here we have a comment. He says, I'm really excited that the Flyers drafted Heikki Rahonen. The guy is a beast. You guys are going to love him in a few years. What do you have to say to that?
I got the opportunity to interview Heikki. First of all, he is an awesome dude. Just seeing him, big guy, really. I mean, he's not tall, but just standing next to him, he is a thick kid. And that kind of fits into how I think the Flyers should use him in the future. He's wide, dude. Like he is like.
So am I.
Like,
okay,
I mean, like he is just a muscular, wide kid, and I could see him in like a third line checking role, and there's skill there too. I mean,
And he's fast too. He's pretty fast.
He
Yeah,
is.
he's got a little
That's
bit of
his
wheels.
speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
think
he
you have
was-
like an NHL comp?
You know who mine is?
honestly,
You know who mine is? Alex
let's
Tuck.
hear it. I don't hate that. I did not have one off the top of my head in terms of an NHL comp, but
Yeah.
I will tell you this: there is a lot more skill to unpack with Heikki Ruohonen than I think we've even seen so far. He was a first line center for Finland in that summer showcase at times. I
Mhm.
believe he started as a fourth line center.
4C, yep.
He made his way up in the span of a week to being the first
played
line
first
center
line.
on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And people make it like that won't be that big of a deal. It is, because that's essentially the very early tryout to make the World Juniors.
Yep.
Which is such a big tournament. There's a lot of eyeballs on it. It's a good place to have a good showing, the World Juniors. It's the time to shine, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the be all end all, but it's a good thing to view, because there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and for better or for worse, that's what so many GMs put stock into.
Yeah.
It's the reason the Flyers got Drysdale in the second for Gauthier. Had he not had such an insane tournament, I don't think he would have been as highly touted.
Okay.
I mean, he had one of the biggest goals of the tournament, if not the biggest goal. USA won gold, and all the eyes are on Cutter Gauthier. So for better or for worse, you have a guy who doesn't want to play there. All the GMs are going to look at that tournament, especially.
I also just think too, like his college season was great, and that was part of what helped.
Yeah. Another thing on Ruohonen here. Got one really well-known hockey scout in Finland has him rated as high as a top 6.
Wow.
I can see top 6. I think more middle 6.
I think so too.
And probably not as a center. Maybe if he's defensively responsible. His defensive game at this level, his defensive game doesn't wow me. I think he looks like a better defender than he is, just because he goes out there and plays with such a reckless abandon. Like, there's no one. And that's kind of a theme too with some of these guys the Flyers drafted in the 4th and 5th round in this draft. I mean, looking at him and Noah Powell, it's two guys that like insane motors, kind of like Denver Markey too. So like those are guys I want on my team. Speaking of college, Ruohonen's going to Harvard too. So
he's smart kid. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
I know they say they don't play school, but
Before we let you go, 1 year anniversary. I know you haven't been around for the whole thing, but it's been really nice to get to know you over the past few months and have you around. What do you think? What do you think of the first year, and any thoughts on the company and anything you want to talk about? Any shout out you want to make?
Of course. It was a fun first year. Obviously, I joined in February of this year, so I've been here for however many months that is, 6 or 7 probably.
About 6. Basic
if you
math.
Just do the math. If you just do the math, it has been a blast. I mean, I went from just writing the pre-games and still learning how to become a good writer. I sent you guys a paper I wrote on the United Nations as a part of my interview.
Nice.
Not at all anything to do with hockey, but
No,
I guess you guys liked my ideas to reform the UN. So I still remember my first article. I wrote the Flyers Yotes pregame article. I like the Coyotes a lot. Flyers are by far number 1, but the Yotes are up there too. So it was pretty cool for that to be my first article.
Nice.
I wrote the Lawton trade article. That was like my first non-pregame article. And it's like, okay, I'm starting to get my feet wet now. It's really, stuff is picked up this summer. I mean, between doing the dive, which we will continue with that, I'm sure.
Yes, we will.
Yeah. You guys will take a dive into
fun.
the dive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then we got back-to-back appearances on 4 Fly Guys. That's sick.
Yeah, you can
love
thank him
being
for
on
that.
the podcast. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And then obviously the highlight of the year for me with Maher Media was the opportunity to go to Detroit and see the World Junior Summer Showcase. That was so much fun to be there on behalf of the company. And that's something, I mean, I would have never gotten the chance to do something like that if it weren't for you guys. So just being able to do that, and I owe it basically all to you guys. I mean, who am I? I'm just some college.
Nah, don't say that. Don't say that. You're a smart dude.
You're a dog, dude.
I don't know, man. I got the opportunity to go there because I work for Maher Media, and all of a sudden I get a picture with Keith Jones, and I'm sitting in front of Doug Armstrong, and
no,
that's just crazy.
Cool. Yeah, it was really cool to be able to send you that, and just really proud of all the stuff that you did that weekend. But yeah, dude. I mean, any last thoughts before we let you go?
I know I didn't get to my hot take, so I'll leave you with this hot take, and you guys can dispute it with whoever is next on, or
why it's mic drop.
Give me a quick chirp. I think Owen Tippett scores 35 goals this year.
Oh,
okay.
I like it.
I like it too.
You know what's funny is that I could see. I know everyone said 40, and I kind of played into that just to kind of mess around.
Mm-hmm.
It would be It would be so sick if he did that. I don't think he will. But yeah, I like that. I like 35. It's a good number.
Yeah, leads the team in goals. TK leads the team in points. That's
there
how
we
I
go.
see this season playing out.
Nice. All right. Heard it here first.
That's my parting wish. It's a wish and a take, all in one.
Yes, sir.
All right, Wyatt. We'll talk to you, buddy. All right. Thanks for doing this, taking the time out of your nice chill Labor Day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Right? How about some more duck hunting? Let's go.
Yeah.
Bad day to be a duck, dude.
Horrible
Bad day to be a duck.
No. As it turns out, it was very good because I did not do the thing. So. We'll get after him though. Maybe a night hunt tonight. So
nice.
All right, thanks, guys. It's awesome to be on.
Yeah. See you, man.
See ya.
See you, Wyatt.
There he is, Wyatt Graves. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What a beauty.
Yeah, got 91 people in here. Got James coming up.
Yep.
Cool.
James Torillo, TikTok guy.
Yeah, our TikTok. James
He's been doing some great stuff.
Dude, our TikTok, I swear, our TikTok is one of the best fucking things that we do.
Yeah.
And it's all because of James.
Yeah.
It's all because of James. Me and you, every 3 or so months.
Yeah. We slightly contribute.
We'll have a slight contribute to our TikTok. James kills it. Absolutely kills it. Great job on there.
Yeah, it'll be great to have him on in a second. But yeah, no, Wyatt was great. That's Wyatt Graves, everybody. He one of the newer-ish editions, I guess. I mean, he wasn't around from the very start.
I couldn't believe it was February. I think it's Warnham's earlier.
It feels like it.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, we've known him and been able to work with him on so many things. It feels like it's been longer, but no, he's a beauty. So
good dude.
Yeah, we got James coming up any minute, and then Nick Roche will join us a little bit later.
Yeah,
but
here he is.
Here he is, James Torillo.
Boys,
what's going on, James?
How we doing?
How are you, man?
Good.
Good. Hanging in there.
Nice. Yeah, well, James, we were just before you came on, we were just pumping your tires about our TikTok. You're killing it. Our TikTok has been great. Anything you've been doing interesting on there? I know you've been kind of diving into a little bit of the stuff that I do for Heritage, which has been cool. A lot of different things I've been seeing, so it's been fun. And, always good to sit down and talk with you. Glad you could join us on this fine Labor Day here. You got anything?
Yeah, first off, I just wanted to say thank you to you guys for having me with this company because I have an awesome time. I love working the TikTok, and Flyers is my passion. So you guys do an incredible job doing this. Congrats on 1 year.
Thank you, dude.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, the stuff with the TikTok, I love posting the old highlights because I could watch old Flyers highlights 24/7 if I had the time. So
same.
I love doing that. And then I've been recapping some stuff that happens, in the hockey world. Recently, even if it's just a little thing like I think it was the Senators and Canucks who did like their centerized logos, like
the blown up logos, no, those were dude, you've been killing it.
Sorry, did I cut out there for a
second? No, you're good. Go ahead.
All good.
All right, okay. I've just been trying to find anything to talk about because it's summer and it's not easy to find stuff to really report about. It's not like
Right.
I can go over Flyers games yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to work on that. And then, of course, when the season starts, I wanted to do something where, you know, I show in the top part of the screen the Flyers game and then me reacting to it. I'll post it after the game is over. And I'll post
Nice.
clips.
Okay.
Like if
Cool.
somebody scores, I'll post that with my reaction. I think that'd be pretty entertaining for the fans.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely get you in with the post game stuff.
Yeah.
If anybody has any ideas for James, feel free to
put them in the comments.
feel free to send them in. No, he kills it every day with the TikTok. But yeah, Wyatt just left us with a hot take. So I don't know if you want to get kickstarted with that. He said his parting wish is the way he described it. Was Owen Tippett scores 35 goals and Travis Konechny leads the team in points. What do you think about either of those?
I like both of those because I'm biased, but I think
Nice.
I think
At least he's honest.
I think they're realistic, but of course I'm gonna agree because I'm a Flyers fan.
Right.
So,
Right.
But if I can,
What's your hot take, James?
If I can give a hot take, this might be a bit of a
Not to put you on
stretch,
the spot, but
but
it's okay because it's a hot take.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the Flyers finish top 3 in the division and make the playoffs.
No shit.
Okay.
Wow.
Not even a wild card, huh? Top three?
I think top 3, if not, I think 4th, and we make the playoffs. I'm very confident that we make the playoffs. I don't.
Okay.
Who's the team you think they beat out?
I think the teams ahead of us will be New York, Carolina,
Rangers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think we can be better than Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
for sure.
We can be better than Washington.
Okay.
Be better than Jersey. I know they were banged up last year, but I still think we can be better than them.
Okay.
Wow.
I think we'll definitely be better than Columbus.
Yeah.
And then I think the Islanders will be right around the same as us.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the Islanders are definition of mid, so I believe that.
Yeah, I think
that's
we'll be right. I think we'll be right around the same as the Devils and Islanders.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's interesting because Washington for me is tough because I think they got good this this season.
They definitely got a lot better.
And I don't think the Caps were atrocious. They were just looked really old.
Mm-hmm.
And they got, I think, a lot better in the offseason. They got Logan Thompson, Matt Roy, Jacob Chikrin, Mangiapane.
Yep.
Anybody else I'm missing?
Probably.
Didn't they add a forward?
Yeah, they probably did.
Forward.
But it was Mangiapane that they added.
I could have sworn they was I can't remember. Say it again, James.
You said they got Chikrin?
Yeah, Chikrin, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, see, the Islanders for me, I for those who don't know and probably do, I've said it 1,000 times, I fucking hate the Islanders. So the Islanders to me will always be bad. Pittsburgh, I think, is going to definitely take a step back, even further than last year. Columbus is Columbus. I don't necessarily think they're going to be that great of a team. Unfortunately, with the passing of Johnny Gaudreau, which is so heartbreaking and unfortunate. It's going to be Columbus is going to be really interesting to watch because I do think they could rally around that in some way.
I think so too. I think they'll make a push. Which
would be really awesome to see for them. That city, the fan base, and when you hear like a couple years ago, they had Kivy. Who unfortunately passed away. The tragic accident with him, and I think it was a firework, something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, everybody knows the Johnny Gaudreau thing. It's very unfortunate, and I know Columbus is a very good hockey city, and and it's such a good market. They have the outdoor game this year. There should be a lot of things that hopefully maybe bring them around a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think the one for me that's hard to see, James, is Jersey. I could see Jersey winning the division.
So could
I could see with Markstrom, with them being healthy, with all them guys that they have, Hughes. Then they added somebody else.
They've gotten a couple.
I lost
couple guys. They got Brendan Dillon from Winnipeg. They got Brett Pesce.
Pesce, yes. Lost to Foley though.
Lost to Foley, but like
added
ultimately,
Markstrom.
Yeah, you get your goalie. I think the goalie outweighs the Foley anyway. I mean,
they lost probably 20-25 goals, but they got a goalie that can save 20-25.
Right, exactly, so, and that's not what they had. They've been looking for a goalie since Marty Brodeur. So
and they would have had one with Crawford, but then he just retired. So, Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They've
It would have been a temporary Band-Aid fix.
Yeah.
But no, you mentioned Gaudreau. It's obviously very, very tragic. And we'll get into that on Fourth Leg Guys this week, I'm sure. And I think I might have touched on it there, that I've always been like a low-key Blue Jackets fan. Like, I honestly really like watching the Blue Jackets when they're on. No reason in particular. I think I just really like the market. The uniforms are nice, the color combinations. And I really do feel for them. And I do think that they could make an actual push for the playoffs this year, just rallying around that.
I just took a drink of water and the whole thing came out of my mouth.
That's nice. I don't think
talking too long, Paul.
Yeah, I don't think they'll make it, but I do think they can make a legit push with, the rally around that.
Yeah.
Jersey, you're crazy for saying that. Plain and simple, you're crazy. You're out of your mind.
Look,
but
in my defense, I live in Jersey, and there's a bunch of Devils fans around here that piss me off. So I get very against the Devils easily.
Did you go to the Stadium Series this year?
No, but I did go to a game in The Rock in December when Tippett had the OT winner.
Oh, what a game!
That was an incredible game.
That's the only Flyers game I've ever been to, not in Philly, and it might be my favorite Flyers game I've ever been to.
Yeah, that was a sick game. That was
a great game.
Yeah, he strips both of the Hughes brothers and snipes one.
Yeah.
OT and OT.
Yes.
Yeah. What a call too.
I went with my friends who are some were either Devils fans, some were just not big hockey fans, but came just for fun. And then one of my friends was a Flyers fan that always comes with me.
Yeah.
He went nuts when Tippett scored. We were probably the most annoying people on the planet for that, like 5 minutes after, because we were like jumping on top of each other. And then on the way out of the arena, there were a lot of Flyer fans there.
Yeah.
And everyone started chanting, "Let's go Flyers."
Yeah.
And I was like, Flyers hockey's back, man. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. The Stadium Series was like that. I mean, the Stadium Series was, my God.
What a day.
I can still feel how cold I was.
Yeah.
Like, I can think about it and feel it. Not ideal.
It was one of the best days of my life until the game happened.
Yeah. Until puck dropped.
It was great.
Until Nico Hischier had a breakaway from fucking center ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was a fun day. It was a shit game from the Flyers standpoint. Probably one of the worst games they played all year.
Yep.
In terms of like actual like enjoyment that I got out of that day, I had a lot of fun. I was numb until Monday. That game was a Saturday night, but it was a good time.
Tailgate was great.
The tailgate was a blast.
Baller and the Nasty Knuckles guys. That was a great time.
The picture from the tailgate up here. Above us on the screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it is up there.
It was a ton of fun, and me and Paul, I look like such a dork that day. I was so cold and I had no other beanie.
No, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter what you wore that day. You were cold.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that, James, with Jersey, because I went to Jersey a couple years ago for a game. It was actually the night the Eagles beat the Falcons the year they won the Super Bowl in the wild card game.
I remember that.
It was that night, and Flyers actually won 5-3. It was a really good game. A lot of fun, and I think I told the story about Pittsburgh, didn't I?
Yeah.
Not gonna get into that one, but that certainly wasn't the best. But yeah, I mean, I think in terms of road game experiences, I think me and Paul have a road game plan this year as well. We'll kind of announce that at a later date, but I think I've had my fair share of some solid road games. You only did Jersey, right? Only did Stanford?
Yeah, that's the only road game I've ever been to.
Yeah.
Which really didn't even feel like a road game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because there were so many Flyers fans there.
Because it was
it's
a Devils home game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
it was, but like there were so many Flyers fans there. When we were walking out around American Dream, which if you know where MetLife is, it's right across the street.
Yeah.
I thought, just based on the people that were walking around, that it was going to be like a 50-50 split. Turned out it was more like probably 60-40 Devils, but it was a great day. Unfortunately, topped off with a shitty game. Owen Tippett was the only one who decided to show up.
Yeah,
but
I never jumped higher when Tippett scored that goal.
Yeah.
When he made that game 2-1, and I was like, when I didn't mean to cut you off, sorry, but the way that was, like, I had to move down from my section. Me and my dad we had to go down to standing room. We went down probably right where the Flyers were shooting that period.
Mm-hmm.
That was the best angle to see that goal and watch the puck go 70 feet out of the net from how fast he shot it. Yeah. It was such a good moment, and like there was a push in that game. Could have tied it, didn't, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think where I sat and where I was standing was the Devils season ticket holder section.
Oh man!
So it was just all Devils fans. It was not a good time.
That's awful.
Yeah.
What's going on, Soda?
Soda Man, the man.
Appreciate that. We'll have something with Soda Man soon.
Yes.
We're gonna announce.
Yeah. Again, and we haven't really touched on a ton of it, but we got a lot of content coming. James, I know you mentioned some stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
I got some stuff that I announced on PHI Heritage. Every Thursday, going to be posting some Eric Lindros highlights. Going to go back and look at one of the best Flyers of all time. The Big E.
It's Legend of '88. We'll get into that a little bit later. I know, James, we have a game that we're hitting up with you pretty soon.
Yeah,
a couple weeks now.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be.
If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So for the rookie scrimmage for both nights, I'm gonna be there for both. Mm-hmm. And my sister goes to college at Muhlenberg, so it's not far away. So I'm actually gonna stay at her place for the night and come back the next day, so I don't have to drive home like an hour and a half and come back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Me and Paul got a hotel, so there you go.
Yeah, we booked the hotel.
Yeah.
Dude, that drive is brutal.
It is.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really fun experience, and from a professional Rangers hater, I can't wait for it because even if it's a rookie scrimmage, I'm not okay with losing to the Rangers. So,
do you think you're going to see Michkov there?
I sure hope. I mean, that's probably going to happen. No.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this earlier. I could see both angles of it, where like maybe they want to play it a little bit safer and not risk injury, and he doesn't play. But there's also the angle of they say that they can't get the kid off the ice in Voorhees, so I would expect him to play in at least one of them.
Yeah.
Not sure which day, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think he's gonna play both.
Yeah.
I think it would make more sense from a marketing and ticket standpoint, where you could get a guy to sell out that arena for 2 days. That would be dope. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. James, you got anything planned for when we go up there? I know it's going to be a couple of us. I believe Owen will be joining us.
Owen Cienko and then Jake Roseberg, one of our new additions.
Yeah, he'll be joining us as well. So we'll have a little group. I think it'll just be me and Paul on Friday, right?
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah, and then a small group of us on Saturday. So it should be fun. I think me and Paul are gonna fuck around at the Allentown Mall for a couple hours before we go to the game, the second game.
Yeah, because there's something to do.
Because there's nothing to do in Allentown. But yeah, it should be fun. James, you got any content planned around the games or anything like that?
Before I was thinking of doing some interviews with maybe both teams' fans. I don't know how many Ranger fans are going to be there, but I wanted to do some.
Usually a couple.
Good amount. Yeah. Some from last year, not a ton.
Yeah, just even if it's simple questions like predict the Rangers record for this season and see what stupid answers they give us. Who knows? But
it's good.
I'll do that for both teams. Just something simple. I'll come up with some simple questions. It'll be pretty cool. Kind of like what you guys did at the development camp. I know, Chris, you did that. I think on the TikTok account.
Yeah.
Yep.
Something simple like that, and then I'd like to tweet out during the scrimmages and just pretty much talk about what's going on. Just update people.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, How many points do you think for Michkov this year, James? You too, Paul. Give your answers.
Let me try not to be biased. But let's see. What did you say for Konechny for when you said he would lead 60?
I said 78.
78.
Yeah. Oh, what did I say?
76, didn't you? Or 4?
It might have been 74, yeah.
I think it was 4.
It was 74.
Yeah.
Michkov, I'll go 75 for Michkov.
Okay.
Do you think he leads the team?
Okay, so for the video that I made on TikTok when you guys were in front of the Wells Fargo Center and you predicted, I agree with Konechny leading the team, but I think 𝐊𝐃𝐿 could be up there as well. So I did say 𝐊𝐃𝐿 because I was kind of in between for the two, but I think either Konechny or 𝐊𝐃𝐿 will be right around 75, whoever leads the team. I think they'll both be around that mark.
I know it's funny you say that because Wyatt earlier was talking about how he thinks Wyatt mentioned he thinks 𝐊𝐃𝐿 will clock in somewhere around the 50s. And then you have Will, whose prediction, I don't know if you remember, he went on record saying about 80, was it 84, 86 or something?
Yeah, I think he said 80, 84.
He said he was going to lead
like
the
88
team.
Or something like that.
Yeah, lead the team with 80-something points, which that would be quite the rookie campaign. Yeah. No, you take those.
Who was it that said Bobby Brink would have like 83?
That's Owen. Classic.
That's classic.
What a guy.
That's
beauty.
A great answer.
Yeah.
Yes. That's interesting. You know what? I gotta look at that now. When's the last time they had a guy had 80 points?
In his rookie year?
No, just in recent years.
Probably would have been, was it Jake?
G.
Yeah, G, but
over. I mean, like 80 points and over.
Oh, okay.
Like not just 80.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, it probably would have been G in 17.
Because most last year was 68. Year before that was 61.
It was probably 17-18 Giroux when he had 102.
Yeah,
because after that they kind of.
It's 1920.
No, because 1920 Konechny led the team with like 61.
Oh right, it was a shortened year. Yeah. The shortened year you're not going to have any. It's 43. JVR led the team in points there.
Let's go, JVR.
JVR
61. Yeah.
Where do you think he ends up as a free agent right now? I know it's heading up into what is September now, and he's still not signed.
I was hoping that we could give him a small 1-year contract, kind of like how Boston did last year, because so stupid reason, but JVR is like my favorite Flyer ever because
really
when I was little, I liked him just because his name was James.
Oh, okay,
nice.
But I was like 6.
Yeah.
Originally, I started following the team because my dad's a diehard Flyers fan as well. And you would always have the Flyers on. So that year during their cup run in 2010 was the first I really ever got into it. And I don't remember why, but I picked my favorite player to be Jeff Carter. I don't know why.
It's a good player.
Then
it's on the back of my shirt right now.
Yeah, he got traded the year that offseason. So then I picked Van Riemsdyk, and then he got traded the next offseason to Toronto. Yeah,
that's brutal.
But then he came back, and so 2 different stints with the Flyers, and he was always my favorite. I have his jersey framed in my room.
Then who was it? Who was it after JVR got traded the first time?
Zach Ronaldo.
And then he left. Okay. Yeah. So then what'd you do?
He got traded. And then after
who is it now, James?
Right now, what I've decided to do is just not. I'm gonna try not to pick a favorite.
Okay.
Wise
decision.
Every time I pick a favorite player or I get somebody's jersey, they're gone or something happens to them. Like I have Giroux. Wait, Giroux right here. I have Ronaldo there. I have over there. I have another Giroux. I have a Van Riemsdyk. The only person. This is why I was getting a little nervous with the Konechny extension. I have his jersey, so I was like, "Oh shoot!"
You thought he was getting traded?
Yeah. But thankfully, he signed that extension, so I think we're good. But if I had to pick a favorite player right now, I'm going to go Frost because I figured if I get a Frost jersey, which is what I plan to do for my next Flyers jersey, if he gets traded or whatever happens, I can always get like a Danny Briere name tag and put that over.
Place a nameplate.
Yeah. So
it's a good idea.
Yeah. Going back to what I was saying, last guy to have 80 points or higher is Giroux in 2018-19. 85 points.
Oh, I forgot about that season.
Yeah. Before that year, before he had the 102, then led the team with 85. Coots had 2 years of 76. But yeah, that's the last time they've had a guy.
That was the last time anybody sniffed that.
And the last guy to have scored 40 in a year was Jeff Carter in 2008-9. So it's been a bit, and I think that's kind of part of what we were saying is like everybody is kind of like all over the place with points and all that too.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, where 𝐅𝐿𝐂𝐒 goes, where 𝐊𝐂𝐒 goes, things like that. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see kind of how the year goes along and things like that too. So
yeah, for sure. I know, James, we similar to Wyatt, you know, you're one of the newer guys that we've added. You haven't been around the whole year, but you know, it is the 1 year anniversary since we launched. So any you know, favorite memory or anything that you've taken away within the first kind of year-ish that you've been with us?
It's a good question. So I don't know if there's a specific memory, but some of the favorite things I like to do that have to do with Maher Media are obviously
even favorite piece of content or anything.
Yeah. Number one, obviously, is making the TikToks, and two, I like listening to 4 Fly Guys in the car. That's nice. Also another favorite of mine, and I always like to put highlights or sports highlights or something while I'm, you know, whether it's doing schoolwork or I'm cleaning my room, whatever. Yeah. A lot of the times I just put on the YouTube channel and I'll listen to a podcast or whatever you guys are talking about.
Oh yeah,
that's another thing I like to do. But I think my favorite video I think I've ever posted was when 𝐊𝐿𝐒𝐒 officially arrived, and I made like, I don't even know if I want to call it an edit, but I kind of just put like some highlights, and it got over like 20,000 views. There were a bunch of comments. You know, there's always going to be like the hate comments of people who think they're funny. Oh, 1975. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Whatever. But yeah.
There's not going to be a day that this company puts out any piece of content, anybody in Philly especially, like that you don't get a comment that says 1975. It's just never going to happen. And it's like, come on. Toronto hasn't had one. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
How long has it been?
67.
Right.
The Flyers weren't even a fucking team yet.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? The Leafs have never won 3 rounds in a playoff series. Because the last time they won a cup, there was only 6 teams. So it was 2 rounds.
I'm not trying to use Toronto as a scapegoat, but like there are teams that have had it much more embarrassingly bad.
You could also even add Vancouver and Buffalo to the mix.
Yeah.
That came in 70 and have done nothing since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go back to my least favorite team, the Rangers, who since the Flyers have became a team, the Rangers have won 1 Stanley Cup and the Flyers have won 2.
Yeah. And what is it? It's 1 cup in 84 years, I think?
Yeah.
Something like that?
And
yeah.
Before
quite the number.
Yeah.
I think their first one before that was like 44.
1940 was the last one before that.
1940. I think there were
it was 54 years. They won the one and haven't won one in, what's that, 30, 36?
You look at the
30?
Rangers and like, you said 1 cup in 84 years?
Well, yeah.
It makes it even more sad considering they played against 5 other teams.
Yeah.
Like you played in a league that had 6 teams for how many years? Like
from the 30s till 67.
Yeah, it was like 30 years. You had 5 other teams that you played against and you didn't win that many cups. Right. The only teams that have an excuse and like are legit, you know, like, oh, that's impressive. Montreal and Boston.
Yeah.
Montreal and Boston continue to win.
Detroit is 11.
Detroit too, but most of their wins came with the original 6 era, no?
No, I mean, they won in...
how many did they win?
08, 02, 97, 98.
Okay.
That's 4.
Yeah. No, you're right.
It's 7.
Right. Yeah, you can throw Detroit in there too.
They got a lot in this modern era.
Yeah, no, before we let you go, any final thoughts or maybe predictions, anything you want to say?
I'll pretty much just wrap up what I said at the beginning. I want to thank the 2 of you and everyone else that really, you know, does everything for this company. I think it's awesome, and I really can't wait to see what it's going to be like a few years from now. Like you guys were talking in the beginning of the stream, you were like, we're in the same room as we were last year. We've got a cookie cake 10 years from now. Who knows what's going to happen?
It's been sitting here rotting.
Yeah, it's been sitting. Yeah, none of us have touched it. My stomach hurts from it, actually.
Yeah, that's good.
But anyway, James, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just think the whole idea of the company is just perfect because, like I said before, the Flyers are my passion, and since I was the age of 5, the Flyers are my favorite thing ever. So even if it's just me yapping about them on TikTok, it's just such a cool experience. And you guys put so much work into this, especially a lot of work that people don't see. Like that video, you know, that you guys posted, it's like what a 1.5-2 minute video.
Yeah.
people might just see that as a quick video you edited, but that takes a lot of hard work, and that's really impressive. And you guys kill it every single day. So I really appreciate you and everybody else that really puts in all this work.
Thank you, James.
Well, yeah, we appreciate you too.
Yeah, no, I mean,
you bust your ass too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just one person. It's all of us, and that's why we're a team. And you know, when you look at you know, the entire growth of the company and all that, it's really, you know, fun to not just, you know, build the company, but build it with everybody. And I think that's the biggest thing. And James, you've been great and a great asset to us, and you've been doing a lot. And you know, I think you're really good at TikTok, and you definitely show that all the time. So it's been good to see, and I'm excited to see what you put out. And we'll you know, we'll have to chat, and obviously we'll have a good time at the rookie game.
Yeah, we'll see you in Allentown in a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten to meet you guys yet. It's been a year.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, we'll see. Yeah. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then we'll get you involved in January too.
Yeah, rink rat.
Yeah, that's right. That's gonna be all.
Touch on that a little bit later. But yeah, dude. No, it's been a blast. So appreciate you coming on.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a lot of fun. I could talk about the Flyers for forever. So I really appreciate you guys having me on, and God bless the Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah.
All right, James. We'll talk to you, buddy. All right.
All right. Thanks so much, boys.
Have a good one. See you, man.
See you, James.
There is James Turillo.
Yep.
Great guy. Got 150 people in here. Paul, I just want to point this out. Last year when we did this stream, we had about 25 people.
Did we?
Yeah. It's about the average.
Yeah, and this is on a Monday. I mean, it's Labor Day.
A Monday at 3 o'clock.
You know, no, appreciate everybody for hopping in.
Yeah, thanks everybody so much.
Gonna have Nick Rose hop on any second now.
There he is, the beauty. Let's bring him in.
Last guest of the day, Nick Rose.
What's up, Nick?
What's up,
guys? Happy 1 year. Let's go.
Let's go. Newfoundland's finest. Here we go.
Damn right. Got one of 4 Flyers fans you'll see up here.
Oh yeah,
that's funny. What's up, dude? How are you?
I'm doing good. Labor Day weekend, nothing going on, but you know, I'll cancel anything for hopping on to the 1 year stream.
Let's go.
That's funny. Nick, we were talking hot takes for the Flyers this year.
Yeah.
What is yours?
So I was listening to what Wyatt was saying, and I was listening to what James was saying, and I'm gonna play off of James's real quick.
Oh no.
They finish with 96 points, third in the Metro.
96 fucking points.
96 points. Third in the Metro. Eastern Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference, dude.
Who are they beating to get there?
I think they're beating Carolina. They're gonna upset the Rangers. Carolina's taking a step back this year. They've lost some talent, and their team's looking a little shaky, especially down the middle. Now, and they're losing, or they bring in Gostisbehere and Walker. Yeah. All good. But how good's Freddie Anderson going to be this year? How good is 𝐊𝐂𝐒 going to be for them this year? What's Natchez going to be like for them this year? What's their center depth? And coming from a Flyers fan, yes, I know, center depth. What's their center depth going to look like this year? And I have another hot take. Rod Brind'Amour gets fired because the Canes underperform.
Okay, brother, you don't even have to make the argument for any of that. I believe all of it. The Carolina Hurricanes right now are in such a they're just so. They
are the. I said this to Paul earlier. They are the Washington Capitals of the 2010s. They are the team that is top in the division every year. They look like a great regular season team, and then they do fuck all once the playoffs come around. And I genuinely could see Carolina taking a step back. Do I think they will? I don't know, because the Metro, outside of 3 teams, New Jersey, the Rangers, and again Carolina, who I still think is right there, is incredibly in question in terms of the Capitals, Penguins, Islanders, Flyers, Columbus, and I think I said the Islanders. Whatever, everybody knows this is the Metro. I mean, I could see them making the playoffs and winning a round.
So I think this.
I don't think they will make the playoffs.
Me neither.
I could see them making it. I don't think they will.
Me neither. I think here's the most reasonable outcome.
Okay,
is they sneak in as a wild card or
2 or 1?
Probably 2.
Okay.
Like
Like last day of the season sneak in?
not necessarily,
but like
I don't know.
Yeah.
1 or 2, regardless. I could see
If it's
them
not like the clusterfuck of what last year was getting into the playoffs where you need
have to
90,
rely on the Red Wings.
90 fucking different.
That's what tanked them was the cluster
Yeah.
that was that 12-game losing streak.
Oh my
Was it
God.
12? Did we hit 12?
No,
No,
it wasn't.
they
It
lost
wasn't over
10.
10. It wasn't even over 10. It was like 8 or 7.
Well,
something
or no,
like
they
that.
lost 10 in
Insane
22-23.
Yeah.
Last year was it was like 8.
Yeah, they've had a lot of bad ones. It was like 7 or 8.
But getting blown out by like and 3 of those
Montreal
losses
twice.
too, right? Montreal twice, Columbus.
9-3. Yeah, Columbus the next
Like,
night. Like
And then I think Buffalo ran over us as well at some
yes,
point.
They did.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was I think the most reasonable or realistic outcome would be the Flyers sneaking into the playoffs. If they play Carolina, I 100% believe they win
they
that.
could win.
They win that series.
Yes, 100%.
Well, I had I told everybody that I talked to, like if especially last year, because it was looking like Philly and Carolina at one point. I said if they get Carolina, they're walking to the second round. It's a 6-game series.
Yeah.
Flyers take it in
Yeah.
6.
Stylistically, the Flyers
6 or
walk
7
over
games,
Carolina.
Yeah.
I will say this right now: if they make the playoffs, every single home game is a win. I do not see them losing.
I don't think they're losing in the Fire at all.
With the way that the Phillies are, and that it's so hard for me to envision them playing that poorly on that home
I
ice.
love it. Come on, boys. Stanley Cup win. Stanley Cup win. I love it.
Yeah. I don't
It's
know.
not crazy here, Nick. That's not happening either.
No,
but
but
can I see them
realistically, I
getting
do
in
agree with
and
Paul.
in?
Like,
Yes.
I see like wild card 2 realistically, but like
Yeah.
hot take,
I don't think they make it at all, but
I don't
Yeah.
either.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't think the team is like. I think that roster is too good to not make it. You know what I mean?
Okay. How come?
Like I just think that the power, like the start, that
If it was
top
last
6
season-
to me,
go ahead.
that top 6 to me, just with Couturier, who is more than likely going to be healthier than he was last season,
Okay.
because he went on. I think he went on nasty knuckles. I think, and he's admitted he had a sports hernia.
Yeah.
So I think him with having the surgery on that, playing with Konechny and Forrester, they were good a lot last year. They clicked very well together, especially in the beginning of last year. And Forrester's only going to get better. I think Forrester's scoring 25 on that top line this year.
Yeah.
Which isn't out of the realm of
Me and Paul
possibility.
rated
And
cookie
then-
cake as you're breaking this
Oh.
down. Go ahead and continue.
I got you. And then with Mitchkov, Frost, and Tippett, that line is going to be, in my opinion, insane. Like, I think Mitchkov's finishing with like 65 points, 65, 70 points, somewhere around there.
That's a good range.
And then I think him
range.
playing
I
with
mean-
Frost and Tippett is only going to elevate those guys who themselves have had really good years the last 2 years, especially Frost.
I'm gonna really botch this cookie. Sorry, Nick. I don't mean to cut you.
Like Frost in the back half of last year was insane.
He was
And
on it.
Tippett's scoring 30.
Yeah.
So
I think if it was last year, I would agree with you.
Mm.
The only thing is, like,
Oh,
the
fuck.
Metro was so much weaker last year than they are this year.
yeah,
New
100%.
Jersey
I
is
agree with
like-
that, yeah.
New Jersey is totally reformed. The fact that they have Markstrom now, and they added Pesci, they added Dylan.
I got schmutz all over my fingers.
That's good. You should have seen the cookie absolutely just crumble in half when he tried to pick it up.
Yeah, my lap.
Yeah. If it was last year, I would agree with you. This year, I think it's the path is just so much tougher, and they didn't get better. Like, I
Yeah.
think Mitchkov is
Got
the huge
better.
addition. No, Mitchkov is the huge addition. I get that, but I don't believe that they are a better team than they were last year.
They got better on paper. You could not argue
And-
that.
I don't know. I think Walker's a huge loss.
I don't put any stock
But they
into
played
the
with-
goaltending
They played
being.
without Walker.
They played without Walker, and how did that turn out? They lost 8 in a row and got blown out by Montreal twice.
You blame that all on losing one guy?
No, but it
Oh.
definitely didn't help. And you're also
No.
forgetting that
But
Carter Hart
one
played up
guy-
until January.
I see your point with losing Walker and like defensive collapses, but also like
One guy shouldn't be the
they
reason. start the
they
blow.
shut out the Devils with just Konechny scoring and then played shutdown defense for the rest of the game.
They shut down the 23-24 Devils, which in
Which-
my eyes,
but
by
at that point, they still like at that point Hughes was back. Like
Hughes was back. They were
I
already
get
out.
Hamilton wasn't there, but
yeah. Look,
Like,
you're not. I'm not
still.
saying you're crazy. I mean,
No,
it's a
I
hot
know.
take for a reason.
Considering the Devils' season ended the night of the Stadium Series.
Yeah, that was their Stanley Cup.
That was their Stanley Cup.
Like, yeah, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like you're crazy. It's a hot take for a reason. But I just, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they make the playoffs. I think they could squeak in as a wild card. Maybe. I mean, to be fair, they were in a top 3 spot for most of last season. And then, you know, it started to fall apart a little bit. They fell off. Then Walker got traded. They traded whoever else at the deadline. Who was it? They traded Wade Allison, but he wasn't even playing.
No, he wasn't even playing.
So they traded Walker and, you know, like
a 4th.
Yeah, and a 4th round pick for Eric Johnson. It fell off a cliff defensively. I mean, Sealer was hurt. Drysdale was hurt. Ristolainen hadn't been seen in ages. And, yeah, I mean, you know, their blue line was decimated by that point. So I'm not going to blame Walker leaving for the reason that it fell apart. But he definitely seemed like an anchor of some kind. And I think that not having him at all this year and then not having Carter Hart play through January at all. I know he was only here for, what was it, 3-4 months that Carter Hart. He played, 3 months?
I do like that you're bringing up Carter Hart, though, because I don't put any faith into people saying that the Flyers goaltending is going to be bottom of the barrel this year. Like, Sam Ersson has played 61 NHL games. 61. Yeah. He played 51 of those 61 last year.
No, that's what I was mentioning earlier. They barely scratched the surface. Like, we don't know what Sam Ersson is yet. But on the same token, you don't know what Ivan Fedotov is yet.
Right.
So,
and that's the exciting part is like, it's not something that I look at that's like, you know, a gloom, or I think we lost Nick there for a second. Not a, you know, huge gloom or doom situation. It's like, to me, it's an exciting thing. It's like you have 2 guys that are younger. You can see which one can take the crease kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have Michkov and everything else. I think we're kind of losing Nick here. All good?
Oh, you got me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're good.
Got a call there.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's exciting for me to kind of see.
It's definitely unpredictable.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So that's your hot take, right? Is it 96 points? They're Eastern Conference Final. Okay. Michkov, we talked about him earlier. I know somebody posed the question of, okay, if Frost is playing with Michkov, is he, you know, destined or essentially required to have a breakout year? What do you think about that? Do you think Frost and Michkov need to go hand in hand in the sense that, like, Michkov's here now, Frost needs to step up and really produce and show out?
In some senses, yes. Like, I think with Michkov coming over, I think him playing with what looks like he's going to be playing with Frost and Tippett is going to be, it's only going to elevate those guys.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think Frost centering that line, like, I think Frost is going to be the center of the first power play unit. I don't think that's any discussion. And I think that unit's going to have Michkov and Tippett on it.
No Forrester?
No Forrester on the first unit.
Second unit? Okay.
Yeah. But I think with Michkov coming over, he's only going to, like, Frost is creative enough as it is.
Yeah.
And you're adding in another jump start to that creativity for the offensive part of the Flyers game this year. And I think with Michkov being as creative as he is and as he was over in the KHL, paired with Frost's own creativity in the NHL, tempered with Tippett's ability to drive into the zone with the puck, and that shot that Tippett has from the dot, I think is only going to make that line insane. And I think Frost is bound for the breakout year this year playing with the 2 of them. And I don't think it's necessarily he has to break out. I think it's more of a question of when will he break out, because it's only a matter of time when you're playing with those 2 guys.
Or are they even going to give him the chance to break out?
Right.
Or is he going to be traded by then?
Yeah, that I think trading Morgan Frost, especially with how the center depth of the team is now, is a mistake.
It'd be a boneheaded decision.
Yes.
I'd rather have Frost as your second line center than Cates or Lawton. And those are pretty much your only other 2 options unless you're trying Michkov at center.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't be too surprised.
Yeah, I mean, you have Lawton and Paling, and that's your bottom 6 right there. So
now Jamie Drysdale, right? I know he had came in here, said he was healthy. That was apparently not really true.
Well,
Had the injury with the shoulder again, but that sidelined him for a little bit. But then he just underwent surgery for was it a core
muscle
surgery?
Muscle, yeah.
What are you expecting out of him for next season? Because in all honesty, like me and him at least, we've kind of tempered our expectations. Like we're not really expecting a ton.
Just to put it out there, Nick, I am expecting what I expected from Kevin Hayes when he came back.
Yeah.
Not much. I'm not expecting much.
I'm not expecting much either. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point past the halfway mark, they try him on the top pair with York. I think that would be, like, if he has a good year and sort of a bounce back year, if they want to put him with York, I think that would be a good decision. However, I'm not expecting much this year out of Jamie Drysdale. I think he'll be better for sure, but I'm still not expecting a wild breakout year yet.
Yeah.
It almost I agree, because I feel like you're still gonna be looking for him to still get used to the man-on-man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't play that a ton. It was maybe 15, 20 games, not even.
Yeah.
So, like,
and
then add the injury on top of that.
I'd expect almost what we saw out of like 22, 23 Farabee, where like he wasn't really effective, but he played every game that year. And then as the season went on, you saw like the final few games, he like really started to kind of come into himself.
See, you saying that makes me worried.
Really?
Because I thought 2022-23 Farabee was atrocious. Only in the sense of, like, yes, you could tell he was hurt.
Yeah.
But it was like he couldn't even make a pass sometimes. You know what I mean?
Well, it wasn't that he was hurt. It was that he missed the entire summer of workouts and everything because he was rehabbing.
Right.
And then he comes in, he has to.
Well, I should say coming off.
Yeah.
Hurt, yeah.
Which, no, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we get.
Right.
Which, for a kid that young, I don't know if it's that
and
big
especially
of a deal.
a defenseman who's going to be playing top 4. And I'm more concerned, can he
just stay healthy?
Stay healthy. Can he defend well? Can he learn the Flyer system well? Can he work more with Shaw throughout the season? Can he learn from the other guys that he's playing with?
Yeah.
Things like that. More in instead of the offense and other things. Sanheim and New York, those will be your heavy minute offensive guys.
Yeah.
For the most part. I'd like to see more of York take that next step. I don't know if he will. I think, again, you still have Sanheim, who I think can do a lot of that, which I have no problem with, because Sanheim really turned into a guy who could just fucking log minutes.
Yeah.
And played good minutes too.
Almost like a Provorov replacement in a way, but I felt like he filled that role better.
Yeah, but just wasn't a liability. That was the problem with Provorov, that he was a liability.
The season before that he was, I think.
Yeah.
I like Sanheim on the right side better than the left. Like, I think regardless of what happens with that decor, he needs to stay on the right.
How about Risto? Do you think Risto's a factor this year?
I saw what I think it was Wyatt.
Wyatt mentioned that.
I saw what Wyatt said, and I really agree with that. Like, for the first bit of the season, if Risto has a really good showing and he defensively is as sound as he's been under John Tortorella at times, I think it'll be a lot easier to ship that contract out. I think he's definitely he won't be a Flyer past the deadline. That's my opinion. Okay. And I just think there's too many teams looking for that depth right shot D-man and who can lay the body, and I think he'll be good for a playoff team if Philly isn't in that position come March.
Playoff Risto. Gotta see it.
Playoff Risto, exactly. Him and the Ferg would be nuts.
Yeah.
But I also think that they're going to start giving some younger guys on the right side more of a look in Risto's position. So I think essentially at some point through the season, they'll kind of be not scratching him every week, but there won't be as much Ristolainen, whether they trade him or John Tortorella says, you know what, I'm going to scratch you. And they call up Emil Andre or Louis Belpedia.
Yeah.
I don't think Risto will be much of an impact player for the Flyers this season.
Yeah. Yeah, man. No, I mean, this has been fun. I know you've been with us since the start, so you're the first one that we've really been able to ask about this fully a year later. Do you have any thoughts or maybe a favorite piece of content or anything from the first year that you want to talk about here?
Right off the kick, I think the way that this company works and the way that you guys do business with Maher Media, personally, I think it's the best I've seen out of any Philly sports media coverage in a very, very long time. You're very open to listening to the team. It's a team effort. It's not just, oh, me and Paul did this, so we're gonna do this. No, like you guys talk about it. You communicate. Communication is what's been so good about this, and it's been
I'm a
a
communication
privilege.
major, so I would hope so.
It's been a privilege to work with you guys and alongside you guys for the full year. As for favorite piece of content, I think my first ever article was are they going to make the playoffs this year?
Yeah.
And
I remember that. I remember
I
reading
currently have a sequel to that in the pipeline, cooking up, simmering.
It's like Hotel Transylvania 2 coming out.
If only I could be that good.
Nice.
But my appearance on Four Fly Guys will always hold a special place in my heart. That was a lot of fun that day.
Yeah, that was great.
We'll have to do that again too.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it for Nick.
Yeah, our friend up north.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we have for the guests today.
Canadian branch of Maher Media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Nick is in our only Canadian market.
Yeah. Yep.
It's good.
Yeah.
Again, no, seriously, Nick. I mean, thank you again for everything that you do.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun being able to not just grow with, obviously with Paul and everything else, but like with everybody. Again, I said this before. Like, it's so fucking fun to do this as a team and do this with a group of people instead of just myself when I was doing it sitting in this room in my house down the street when I was a kid. So it's so much fun, and I'm pumped to do the rest and see what we can come up with this year and see how the Flyers do, and it'll be a lot of fun. And again, thank you for your hard work.
The trailer you guys put out today, the thing that sticks with me the most.
Yeah.
Chris says no one in their right mind would choose this team.
Yeah.
This team kind of finds you, and I can't be happier to share that passion and that drive and that, some would say, insanity with a bunch of other people just as crazy as me. So I thank you guys a lot for giving me this opportunity, and I can't wait.
Of course, dude. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Gonna be fun.
Just around the corner.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about what's coming up right after this.
Yeah. All right, Nick. We'll keep in touch, buddy. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. See you.
Appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate it.
There he is, Nick Roche. All right, Paul. We got some content to talk about here.
We do. It's kind of what we do. We're a media company.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mentioned it. Fuck you.
It's good.
I mentioned it a little bit before. Heritage got some new stuff.
Yeah.
Eric Lindros. This was I started this idea months ago, and then I sat on it for a while. I was kind of working on some other things. I was getting some stuff lined up for Canoodle. We had the summer and everything else. Life kind of got in the way a tad. It was something that I wanted to do, announce it maybe a little later, probably a little earlier in the summer, but it is what it is. It's kind of coming a little bit later, but all's well ends well. Every Thursday, gonna post some Eric Lindros content, kind of go back into the chambers and see what's there from the Big E. It should be a lot of fun. Heritage is one of one of my favorite brands because it's one of the things that really resonates with me in my childhood was just watching old Flyers film and videos and games and looking up stats and all these different stuff. So and obviously you have guys, like Lindros, and there's so many great players in the Flyers organization and just all time that I think kind of get overlooked in terms of because they never won a championship.
Yeah.
Some to say. So I'm really pumped to look at, some more stuff with Lindros and stuff like that. You got anything for Pipeline?
Yeah, I mean, Pipeline's just gonna really. This is the first full season that we're gonna actually have Pipeline in effect. We introduced it in April, and it was wildly successful.
Yes.
I was shocked, honestly. I figured with the success of Heritage that there'd be some interest in the prospects, but I didn't think it would be as heavy. Dev Camp was a huge success. And yeah, I mean, especially when the team is in a rebuilding state like they are now, there's going to be a lot of interest with the guys that are coming up through the system. So yeah, I mean, Jet Luchenko is going to be in his first year as a Flyers prospect. So there's going to be a lot of guys with eyes on him. Denver Barkey and Oliver Bonk back with the London Knights. There's going to be a ton of interest there.
Phantoms.
And then the Phantoms, obviously, with every player that we have down in Lehigh Valley, and the Phantoms themselves, like, we'll have coverage of all that. So that's what you'll be able to find on Pipeline throughout the whole year. And then we'll be back for Dev Camp next summer. But what do you got about Knuble? Knuble's coming up.
Kicking it with Knuble, start on the 13th. Every Friday at noon, going to be sitting down with Mike Knuble, former Philadelphia Flyer. It's going to be a lot of fun. For those who remember when I was transitioning from all of my main stuff and then transferring into Maher Media, when I started this with Paul, and then we kind of, expanded into a bigger company and everything. One of the biggest things was that I was doing was TCMS, Chris Mayer Show. I had that up for a couple of months, and I had a segment with Mike, and I really didn't want to end it. Unfortunately, I had to because of school. I had a scheduling conflict, and it wasn't going to work with Mike because Mike does coach ice hockey as well. So there was a scheduling conflict. That show ended up getting ended, that one, and then we started Four Fly Guys. Now bringing back Kicking It with Knuble. So this will be our second podcast, Maher Media, which will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm pumped for it. I mean, mostly for the season, Mike and I will be recording on Thursdays. So that may kind of play into some episodes a little bit, just because they'll come out on Fridays. Obviously, Flyers do tend to have a lot of Tuesday, Thursday-ish games. So that, there may be a little bit of some editing in terms of things kind of coming in and out of the episode, things like that. But outside of that, like, I'm pumped for it. It should be a lot of fun. Is on Twitter and Instagram. It's Kicking It Knuble on Twitter, and then on Instagram it's Kicking It With. Unfortunately, I think Twitter, it was too long, or the username, something like that. Yeah,
Twitter and their 15 characters.
Yeah, but I'm pumped for it. It should be a lot of fun, and again, Mike's a great guy. He knows a ton about the game, and it'll be really cool to sit down with him each week and kind of pick his brain and kind of just see and see the things that we kind of talk about throughout the year, and again, kind of rehashing some old stuff too. So. And again, to be able to do stuff, make content with a former Flyer is a lot of fun. So
yeah,
I'm pumped for it, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. We touched on the rookie games earlier with James.
Yes. Michkov.
Have those coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe the debut of Matvei Michkov in a Flyers jersey. Yeah. We've kind of tossed around the idea throughout this whole stream, but I would expect it to probably happen at least in one of the games. So regardless, I mean, he's, this is the player that the Philadelphia's been waiting for a very long time, since Drew was traded, and even while Drew was here, they wanted another one. And this is the type of talent that doesn't come by very often. So it's incredible that he not only wanted to be a Flyer, but that they chose to take the risk. The risk paid off beautifully, and now he's over here 2 years early. So it's going to be a great year for us.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah. Year 2 is going to be
a lot of fun,
a ton of fun with the new team members that we've added. Jake Roseborough is one of them that will really start incorporating into a lot of the content soon. He's going to be at the rookie games with us. We'll probably have some stuff with him there. Mm-hmm. James too, that we had on earlier.
Owen, who you guys have seen.
Owen, producer of the pod. Yeah, bunch of great guys that we're going to be doing stuff with all year, and it all goes back to the product that's put on the ice for us to cover. So,
yeah. And then in terms of some other content as well, I'll get to Rink Rat in a second, which we've kind of talked about before, but we'll get into more of it here in a minute.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing some fantasy hockey this year.
Mm-hmm.
Pumped for that. Don't have a ton of details on that yet. We're still kind of ironing out the kinks. But we are going to be doing some more interactive fantasy hockey content throughout the year. So stay tuned for that. We'll be posting some stuff on the main Maher Media Twitter and our Instagram as well. And in terms of Rink Rat, that's going to be one of the biggest events that we're probably going to do all time.
Yeah. The Rink Rat Games
one. The Rink Rat Winter Classic is going to be a lot of fun. We are in the process of, we have jerseys, we have a rink. We're still looking for some other things in terms of the production and things like that. I won't get into too much detail, but we're getting there. January 4th is when the game will be. The actual, all the cover
full edit and
stuff
everything.
Like it'll be a couple days later.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I am pumped.
It's the most ambitious thing that we've worked on.
Yes.
By far, not even close. But
it took a long time for us to really, I think, get on board with the Rink Rat idea, because it was an original idea we had when we started. It was just really,
it's pretty ballsy too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's
very ballsy. Yes,
most people in this position probably wouldn't.
Most people would cave
try to
and say
pursue
no.
something like this right now, but
it's hard.
We're really passionate about the idea, and we want to put it into place sooner rather than later. So we've been very patient with it, and very just stay very locked in with the planning and production and everything. And it's been a little bit of a headache at times, but we've kind of sorted through it, and we should have some
teasers coming
very soon. So that'll be a blast. But
anything else?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. Just, again, Legend of 88 on PHI Heritage, that's been put into effect. Kicking It with Knuble on September 13th. Rookie Games also on September 13th, and then the second one is on the 14th, the day after. Yep. We'll have a ton of coverage from there. Camp. Rookie Camp coming up soon, and then Training Camp.
Yeah. It'll go from Rookie Camp into the games, into Training Camp, into the preseason. So that'll be fun, and I'm sure we'll be there.
Yeah,
for both of those. And,
coverage all the way through, and then January. Yeah,
like
Mitchkov is the main headliner. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
And then January will top it all off with the new kind of expansion that we're working with. Like I said in the beginning, year one was all about just getting our feet wet and getting off the ground and establishing what we are and what we want to do and expanding. And now that we've expanded, it's all about just putting everything into effect and grinding it out and polishing it. So
I will say, if you put me in this seat last year and you said to me that we would have had 3 brands and 2 podcasts going to year 2, I would have called you fucking nuts.
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
Because we literally did not have any of these ideas. Like 4 Fly Guys wasn't a thing. Heritage wasn't a thing. I mean, I thought of Heritage sitting in your bedroom watching old Claude Giroux highlights. Like, that was how Heritage became a thing. And then Pipeline was like, I was on the train coming home. I think we talked about this like the day before, and I was like, dude, we should do something for prospects. You're like, let's do it. And then we had the fan of playoff run and everything, and it was like, and everything just kind of, the way the season went and all, and it's been a lot of fun. And again, I just want to say thank you to everybody, because
we've had consistently over 150 viewers this whole time, so,
which has been awesome. And again, thank you so much to everybody for, obviously the guests, Wyatt, James, and Nick, our entire team, which is fantastic people, fantastic group of people, Paul.
And that's the most rewarding part of the whole thing, is the team that we have, that we build, and we're still building. Obviously, it's never fully complete, but I mean, it's so many good things to come, not just now, but next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's only going to keep going. So it's great to be in this chair exactly a year later from where we were.
We'll do it again next year.
Back at it again.
So again, it's great to do this, and I got to thank Paul for a minute, because I think last year in May, when I came to him and I had this idea, I think there was probably part of you that thought I was a little fucking crazy with some of the ideas, but I have to give you credit for at least sticking with it and believing in the idea, because not many people, I don't think, would have. So it's been a lot of fun doing this with you, and I'm pumped for everything we can do, but not just do it, but do it together. You know what I mean? And that's my favorite thing. So
right on.
I'm pumped. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, anything else?
No, I mean, I think that pretty much does it. If you haven't already seen the video Strive to Fly that we put out earlier, just go check it out. It's kind of a quick little hype kind of trailer summary of what we are, and it showcases a little bit of the work that we've put in over the last year and also what's to come. And it's just compiled really well. Special thanks to Owen, like we said, for helping us out with the shots and everything. And yeah, I mean,
would you like some more cookie cake?
I think I'm good for now.
I think I'm okay too.
Yeah, I think that's the cookie cake on top right there. I think I'll just call it a day.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude,
All
grind
right.
time's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Thanks everybody again for all the support as always. Make sure to check out Maher Media and all the things that we do. Super pumped for this year. Thanks everybody again. Cannot thank you all enough. And we'll talk to you guys all soon. See you guys.